Recently, I pruned branches off of the trees that surround the property, and now I'm going back in to drag these branches into the woods and get them off of the lawn. I'm starting in this front portion of the property by dragging these branches into the woods. However, I'm being careful not to overuse one side of my body over another side, so I alternate between left and right. Now I'm going to move into the backyard where there are a lot more branches to drag. So I'm creating a sled of branches, which is a large branch with smaller branches piled on top. And by pulling the whole sled, I'm being more efficient because I'm making less trips back and forth and I'm carrying and pulling a larger load. Again, I'm using that sled technique of putting a larger branch first with smaller branches on top. Because this is a lot further drag, about 80 yards, this really is making me more efficient. Another thing I'm doing is alternating the orientation of how I drag the branches. So sometimes I'll drag it forwards, sometimes I'll drag it backwards. This again is preventing burnout because I'm alternating my body. When doing laborious work like this, having a helper is tremendous. So I recruited Doug to help me out. Together we dragged some large branches, and we also can split up and do some individual work. In this next clip, I'm going to stay here and do some finishing work, and Doug is going to continue dragging some branches on the backside of the property. So I'm just grabbing a rake and raking up these smaller branches and leftover material. I didn't mention this, but our lawn care company is coming later today, so I didn't want them to mow over any of this stuff and potentially damage their equipment. Now we're moving to the side yard where the service driveway is. Not only were these branches really large and heavy, but they were also entangled in wild vines, which made moving them really difficult. So we had to free them from the vines, and then we could pull them into the woods. After that, Doug and I just walked the driveway and roomed it all up of smaller material. Now I'm revisiting that front portion of the property with all the pine needles. I'm trying to rake them up as best as I can and using a wheelbarrow to transport them into the woods, and then hopefully with doing this, the grass will grow a little bit better here and it just looks a little bit nicer. So that was it. Here's a walk around of the final product. The final job is done. The lawn care company came and they were happy that there were no more low-hanging branches. Anyways, thank you so much for watching Man vs. House.